I was going to go detecting today, but as you can see, the weather's not being very kind, so I might do what I've been putting off for a while, and that's to clean out one of my cabinets, dust everything down, and then put everything, all my finds back into it. But I'll try and present them a little bit better than what they were. Anyway, I'll better get into it. This is a shelf that I want to pull everything out of and clean. I've got some beautiful finds there that I had a lot of fun recovering, all that history saved. I've got a fair bit of my army stuff here from my time in the Australian Army, and I've got a few more bottles and coins down there. You've got the old Browning camera. That was my my mum's camera, and I can remember Mum taking some good photos with that old camera, and it's in my little museum now. But as you can see, I've got a bit of gear, and I'm going to clean this whole cabinet out probably within the next week, and put everything back into it, but in a little, well, with a bit more order. So what I'll do is I'll get started, and I'll put the camera on and take a bit of film every now and then, so you can see how far I'm going. Anyway, I've got a bit of work to do. Well, I'm slowly getting there. I've almost finished the top shelf, and have all my gear over there, but yeah, I've got a little bit to go yet, and then I've got to dust down the shelf, clean it up, and I'll show you a few of the finds I've got over here that I haven't shown anyone yet, like videotaped them, and I'll put them in a YouTube video so you can have a look. But yeah, I've still got a bit of work to go, so I better get back into it. Well, I've removed all the relics from the shelf. I'll have to drag it out and give it a hot soapy water bath, and then clean it up. Then I'll have to clean the finds here as well. A few of them are dusty, but some need a bit more oil on them just to preserve them that little bit more. I'll just show you this one here. This is supposed to be a 1931 florin, or 2 shillings, but in actual fact it only weighs about a quarter, and I often wonder why it's had nicks cut into it. But to me it's a counterfeit florin, 2 shillings, and this was during the Second World War, this was a third of a day's pay for our blokes, for our soldiers. So they're only what they used to call them 6 bob a day tourists. But yeah, that old George V. Yeah, it's a nice, well, counterfeit, and I'm yet to be proven wrong. Anyway, I've got a few other things that I've picked up from the goldfields. A nice, no embossing on this torpedo bottle, but it's still a good find. They used to build them like that, or correction, mould them like that, and they'd put the cork in, and the actual liquid, because the bottle was laying on its side, would lubricate the cork and it wouldn't leak. And I've seen a few of those in old movies on TV, but yeah, that was a good find, that one as well. I dug this an old bottle dump. It's a lid off a teapot, but look at that artwork there. I reckon that's beautiful. Quite old, 1870s, 1880s. the old egg cup. Got out the goldfields as well, and I picked this up at an old dump out at Charters Towers, the old fake egg. They used to shove these under the chooks to prompt them to lay, so I've been led to believe. This one here, I just had to bring it home. It's got a bit of decoration on it, and it was quite nice. So that just goes in the cupboard as well. This one here, it's a little metal box that used to have a hinge here, and I recovered this at the goldfields. They're all just in the ground such as this. It's been squashed, as you can see, but I tried to decipher some of the scratches on the top of the lid, believing that there might have been a name or initials there, but I had no luck. There's scratchings on the bottom as well. But yeah, you can see where the hinge went in the top left there. But yeah, a nice little box worth saving. Picked this up out at, it's got actual Charters Towers on it, up the top there, Charters Towers. And a Moddy Cycle Works. Now, it's the first time I've ever heard of that. It's a shame it's got the hole there, but yeah, that would have fitted on probably the fork of the bike. Cycle Works. So I gather it might have been push bikes. So I've got to do a bit more research on that one yet, but that's should be fun researching that one. I dug this probably about 15 minutes after I dug up the 1863 English Sovereign. And when I first saw this in the soil, I thought I'd found another gold coin. But it's just gold plated. Probably maybe a draw pull or something like that. Yeah, I found this. I found this gold ring. It was on the obstacle course out at 3 Brigade Army Camp, and I gave it to the MPs and they had it for a few months. And then I got a phone call to go down and pick it up because no one had claimed it. This one, Goldfield Fine. Obviously it's seen better days, but some digger would have eaten with that. I think this is a mantelpiece clock key for winding it up. It looks like it's been made of iron. Quite well too, unless it was moulded. I've found this old marble. It was just on the ground when I was out bush. Picked it up, so it's lighter than normal marble, like a glass marble, probably because it's made out of clay, and it dates to 1800s, maybe 1880, 1890, I'm not too sure. But a lot of people think this is a marble too, well, it might have finished its life as a marble, but it was actually the stopper in a cod bottle, where when you tipped the bottle up, this would go down, and with the rubber gasket at the front of the top of the bottle, it would stop the liquid from going out. But the kids used to break the cod bottles and pull these out and use them as marbles. And I found quite a few broken cods out bush where I wish I could go back in time and kick some young backsides for ruining a good cod bottle. This here is I think it's an 1857 threepence, and it's been holed, and it looks like it had another bit of wire hanging off the base of it just there, as you can see. And I actually picked that up off the ground when we went up and we visited the Palmer River goldfields, and that was before we crossed over the Palmer River, and that was lying on the ground. We just had a bit of a kick around, and one of my sons was with me, and the workmate. And yeah, these here, one's a George the 5th threepence, the other one's a George the 6th threepence. And I picked them up at a old ammo dump out at past Bluewater here, going north towards Cairns. And they'd obviously been chopped up to make a lock or a switch. You can see the shape of what they've been used for. And that silver half moon shape up there is half a silver coin. And yeah, but they were good finds as well. I've got a snake buckle here. I've got a couple of them. I've got 2 or 3 put away somewhere. But yeah, I enjoyed finding that. It was just lying there like that, so obviously the belt's broken and the bloke's just chucked it over his shoulder. Got all the overall or suspender buckles there. This one's a big silver ring, but it's been made from a coin. And it's a very big ring, just swims on my fingers. But yeah, it's another good find, that one there. Where are we? This one here. It's got, I think it's Wilson Tent Makers. Now I got this at the army camp as well. I think obviously it's come off some canvas, tarpaulin or tent or whatever. But yeah, that's another good find. This one here, it reminds me of the gaming pieces, like what are they, quarter guinea or something like that. It's got, you can see the shield in there, but I've got to do a bit more research on this one. I've got a loop that I'll have a look through, and I'll just write down what it is, and I'll get on the net and try and do a little bit of research on that one. What else have we got? I haven't got a clue what this is off, but I've dug this at the Goldfields, trademark B&B Birmingham. Obviously that's Birmingham in London, I would imagine. This here, believe it or not, but it's a 1797 Cartwheel Penny. It's the second one I've found, but look how worn it is. It weighs 80% of what it should weigh. So it's just say it's supposed to weigh 100% of metal for 1 ounce, and it only weighs 80%. Because these were an ounce and the tuppence penny, or the two pence, weighed 2 ounces, the shopkeepers used to use these for weights when they were measuring flour, sugar, whatever. And I think 8 of these strung out was a 1 foot, something like that. But anyway, that's 1797 Cartwheel Penny. A few other finds here. The old stirrup made of iron. Just think, the blacksmith had to make that on a forge. Beautiful work, absolutely beautiful work for the technology of the times. Nice bit of a bullet there. I'll just put it over here with the rest. Down here, what have I got down here? Oh, I found that at a park. It's returned from active. No, I found it at school. It's returned from active duty overseas for a soldier, airman, sailor or whatever. And I found, that's right, it was at a school. Someone probably had show and tell, the kiddies had show and tell, and they've grabbed dad or mum's return from active service badge and took it in the school and promptly lost it, and I came along with a metal detector and found it. This one here, I found it at an old ammunition camp as well, and it's from Ohio in the States. What else we got? This one here, found this at an old bottle dump. It's got Queensland Railways on it with the crown. I don't know whether it's a Queen's crown or a King's crown, but I'll probably end up doing some research on that later. These ones here, they're actually on top of, and they're very, very fragile, they're actually on top of one of these. Now these are glass stoppers now. I've probably got a few hundred of these. But what a lot of people don't realise is they had cork around the actual stopper itself, and that's what used to stop the liquid from coming out. The majority of these were made for sauces and things like that. But these aluminium ones, or aluminium, that's what I term aluminium, which I think it is, they're on lids very similar to the glass stopper, and they were very, very fragile. This one here, I found it in a park in here in Townsville. It's like a mercury dime, I think they call them, mercury dime. It's got Liberty in letters up the top, and on the right hand down there you can see the date 1944. But over here you see a few scratchings. Now I've put a loop on that, of which I've got here. I've put a loop on that, and it's got, I can just make out 1929's been scratched into it, and then it's got some letters underneath it, but I haven't got a clue. Whoever did it must have an excellent eyesight. I found this at an army camp. It's a buffalo nickel, and you can see the buffalo there, and United States of America at the top, but on the rear it's got the Indian, and down the bottom there you'll just see the date, and it says 1929. But obviously military personnel from the States obviously had that made into a bit of a brooch, and maybe was going to send it home to their loved one or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, that was a good find at a Noomba Army Camp, that one. This one here, found it at a park here in Townsville. It's 10 grams of 99.9% silver. These here, they go on the handles of saws, you know, to cut up wood. You can see this one, it's got warranted superior on it, but that eagle, well, it looks like a sick chook in my idea, but that's an eagle you normally see, an old American eagle. He's got the arrows on the bottom, which I think means something like, you know, they will fight if they have to. And he's also got, I think that's an olive branch for peace on the left hand side, and as you can see his head, it's looking over to the left hand side as you're looking at it, and that meant that he prefers peace, but if he has to, he'll fight. I think that is something similar to the Great Seal of America. But yeah, these go on through the timber handle of hand saws, or this one could have been a double job. This one here, I'll just see if I can get it to focus. Yeah, upside down, typical. There we go, warranted superior. Now I imagine that's an English one. The American one down here, well, I'm calling it American, it's got a screw back, and this one is like a rivet. Where else are we? This I dug out at a park, and it's got Victorian Football League on it, and that's the Football League side. And this one here, you can see the something match, but that letter there, which is at the top of the screen now, the word, I just can't make it out. I'll have to get the loop on that and have a squiz and have a look at it. But this one here, this bullet, it's, well, to me it represents a 50 cal bullet. I think it just feels a tad smaller but it's made of iron. It's not made of maybe copper jacketed lead, or full metal jacket as they call them. This one here, it's made out of iron. This here I dug at a bottle dump. It's 1897 Diamond Jubilee, Queen Victoria Diamond Jubilee medallion or whatever. And you can see it was gold one time. Yeah, that was buried. It was about 6 inches down, that one. Still a lot of colour in it though. And I've got assorted bullets, pistol balls, musket balls. I've got some old cartridges here, which their calibers have probably been long forgotten. But yeah. This I found at a bottle dump as well. It's just a Scots whisky ashtray, and that's how I found it. I just gave it a good bath in hot soapy water and just gave it a smidgen of oil just to bring it up a bit. I'd love to get it fixed up so it's its original shape. I've got some. Each one of these nails was made by a blacksmith. They're all iron. Look at this one. All made by hand. Not machine made like the ones we have nowadays, but someone had to make all of these by hand. Look at this one. Real artwork, I reckon. Not imagine the skill. Unbelievable. These ones here, you can see I've got two different types. That's actual lead on top of a roofing nail. Now the only explanation I've got for that is they whack it into the tin and into the corrugated iron or whatever, and what it does, the head on this will flatten out, and I suppose it's to make it waterproof. Supposedly after they've banged in the nail. I found a lot of those on the goldfields and old homes too from the 1930s and things like that. But this one here, it's out of a lamp, like very similar to this one here. That's just an imitation one, that one, of an oil lamp. But yeah, this one would have had the wick come up through there. I picked this up at an old dump as well over it, out near Pentlands, I think, west of here. But what I do to display some of my finds, you'll see these are the plastic things that you push into the PowerPoints so the young kiddies can't stick knives or forks or whatever down. And all I've done is I've just chopped a bit off the front one and I just sit it like that, and then I'll just, well, it's supposed to stand up, but I just have that sitting in there like that. But that's how I display them, like that. I've got the religious figures and the toy soldiers, lead toy soldiers. Got a few old tins here as well. This one here is a Bell's wax match box sort of thing. But yeah, that's the finds for this cabinet, or this shelf. So what I'll do is might finish it later. I'll clean the glass shelf off, and then I'll probably do these later on after tea. Anyway, I've got to get into it, talking to you lot. Anyway, I'll see you later. Well, it's Saturday now, and I'm going to start putting the relics away. that I took out of the cabinet. I've cleaned the shelf and given it a bit of a wipe down with a wet rag, so she's about ready to start putting them in. So I better get going. Well, I'm slowly getting there, but I've had a look at what I've got left, and I don't know whether I'll have enough room for all of it to go in here, so I may have to move a lot of this stuff around again. As you can see, that's how I display the belt buckles. I've got those little plugs for the sockets on the power, so little kiddies can't stick things in them, and I just cut a bit off, and the belt buckle just sits there nicely, so it's well displayed. Anyway, I better get into it. I've got more to do. Well, I finally finished. It was hard fitting everything in, and I had to put a few items on a lower shelf, but this will have to do. Everything's clean. I've just got to start on the other two shelves now, and then I've got this cabinet to do. And I'll clean everything, so it's all spick and span. Get it done. It'll make me feel a lot better knowing that I've finished it. And I've got to do these shelves as well. You can see they're a bit of a mess, covered in dust. A lot of stuff here is I dug that and detected it at an old Second World War Army camp, which is local, because we had, what I've heard is we had over 300,000 troops pass through the Townsville area, and over the course of the Second World War, and there are numerous airfields. I think there was 5 airfields in Townsville and the surrounding districts itself. There was more at Charters Towers. They were basically everywhere. And the troops sort of kept changing. They'd go away, others would come in, and luckily enough for people such as me, they dropped things and lost them. And I was there with my metal detector many years later and was lucky enough to pick them up. But there's still a lot more out there that can be found. And hopefully I'll be the one to find them. But anyway, that's it for me. Going upstairs. I've got a bit of work to do upstairs, and I'll do a bit of editing on this, and I'll post it as soon as I can. Anyway, thanks if you're watching. Thanks very much, and till next time. Bye.